Today we're going to be drawing a cute frog in Procreate, and at the end I'm going to be showing you two very special techniques that will make your drawing more stylized and might even push you into developing your own style, which a lot of artists struggle with. So stay tuned to the end so you don't miss that. Now let's get started. So let's start our canvas. Hit the little plus icon in the top right corner. We're going to do my normal 3000 by 3000. So you can click on the black folder with the +6 sign on it and just type in 3000 and 3000 and hit create. And there we go. Now, as always, I've created this tutorial so all levels will be able to participate. What I've provided you with is a sketch with grid lines and without grid lines that will help you in sketching this frog. I've also provided you with 4 brushes, custom brushes. I've also provided you with the color palette that I use, and a special bonus today. I provided you with a paper texture and also a background texture. So you'll be able to download all of those for free, and the link will be in the description below. It's on Gumroad. I've set it up where it's a free download. I've also set it up where you're able to donate $1 or $2 if you find these tutorials helpful and want to support the channel. Your help will be very beneficial and appreciated. Okay, let's get started. So, first off, I'm going to explain like I normally do. If you are new to Procreate or you're new to drawing in general, what you can do is click on the little wrench icon right here, add, insert a photo, and then click on the one without grid lines. And the sketch is the same dimensions as your canvas, so you won't have to resize or anything. So there is our sketch of the frog sitting on a log, and he's got a cup of coffee with him. So if you're new to Procreate, new to drawing, what you can do is you can just go ahead and lower the opacity on this by hitting the little N, taking the opacity down. You can start a new layer, drag it under, and then you can just trace over it. For example, just like that. So that's one way. Another way would be just to leave the sketch in there at full opacity, and you can just start coloring it in. If that's the way you want to do it, that will be fine too. Now, if you've got a little experience with Procreate or a little experience with drawing, another way that you can do it, we're going to delete this layer, actually slide it to the right or the left and hit delete. Make sure I got this on full opacity. Yep. All right. And what we're going to do this time is we're going to hit the wrench again. We're going to highlight canvas, click on reference, and this right here will give you a reference photo that you'll be able to keep right over here on the left side. You can actually drag it anywhere you want. I like it over here on the left. And then you can make the box a little bit bigger by dragging the corner down. And then we're going to hit image and import an image. And this time we're going to put the one in with the grid lines on it. And there is our sketch. Now what you can do is if you want to put the grid lines that are on the sketch over to your canvas, the same ones, hit your wrench icon, turn on drawing guide, edit your drawing guide. Now we want to make these boxes a little bit bigger. So the grid I've set is for 320 pixels. So if you see the grid size right here, if you just click on the 95 there, which is the default, and type in 320, done, and done again up here, now you have the same. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. There's the full. If you put the papers right next to each other, you can see the grid lines are exactly the same. So what that will do, it'll help you put your sketch in there so you can see what box this line goes down, and it just kind of help you. So I'm just going to leave it in just like that. We're going to start our sketch. Now the color palette I've given you is called Frog, and let me see, this sketch, I think I use this dark third color to the from the left. I think it's a dark brown. Yeah. So you want to sketch with that and the brush. I've given you the frog set, and you can use the sketch brush, Chamel sketch, and then let's start sketching our little frog here. So if you want to kind of put that the same size, you can see a little bit better where this sketch is supposed to go. So I'm going to just give myself some little marks where I know where this part's coming down, so the little log comes down about right there, and then right here, and then right here, and this part cuts through there, about like that. I'm going to show you why I'm doing this. Something's not right. Actually, it's okay. So this is just going to kind of give me an idea of where everything's at. And our frog comes up to about right here. 2 eyes. And then our cup of coffee. Okay. So that's about it. Now, the reason I did that is now I don't have to keep the canvas so small, and I can kind of tell where these things go in. I can make this a little bit bigger over here too. So we know we know that this square right here and this square here is the same. Okay, so let's now get our sketch in there. So we're going to come down here. We're going to take it about right there, and then this is going to cut through that one and come to about there. Okay, now this cuts right through that cross right there, and then comes down to about right there. And then this circle about like that, and then this one comes up, stops about right there. Now about there. Good. We got some lines here, a curved line there, kind of like that. Okay, now let's look at this top part here. So that comes up about right there. We got like a little peak, and then to about right there. Okay, now our frog, little foot there. Looks good. And then his something is off, very, very off. And I'm not liking it, and I want to know what It is. That's so off. Well, that's alright. That's alright. There's a frog only 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yep, that's it. On my sketch, I put way up there. That's why it was throwing me off. Another eye here, and I'm gonna come down here and put another foot here. And then we're gonna have a little circle right there. Mouth. I'm gonna have some spots. Remember, this is just our sketch, so it don't have to be perfect. Droopy eyes with some. Okay, and then our coffee cup. And saucer. Okay, I think that's gonna do it. That's basically all the proportions are in the correct places. Now when I go in to ink it, it won't look wonky or anything like that. So let's maybe put some of these lines in here. And actually, we're still going to have our reference photo up, so we'll be able to look at those. Yeah, I think that's good. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the opacity down like that. We're going to create a new layer. We're going to drag it under, and what you do is hold it down until you see it move a little bit, and then you're able to move it wherever you like. Just put it under the sketch there. And what I'm going to do is lock the sketch, way I don't accidentally draw on the sketch layer. Okay, and then we're going to change to our Chamel inker. Now this brush is thick to thin, so the harder you push, the thicker it gets, and then you let off and it gets lighter. So in the cartoonist style, you know, when you do stuff like that, it makes it look just, I think it makes it look so much better than to having a monoline brush where the line is always the same weight. So, all right, let's get started with our sketch. Okay, so I'm going to do this log first, and thin, and then thick. You can see thin, thick, and then thin again. And this gives it a very cartoonish and a cool look. Like that. And this one's going to come here. That's good. Do I like that? Yeah, it's okay. Okay, here I'm going to start a thin and get thicker and then end up with thin again. I'm going to do the circle here. If you want to hold your pen down, it'll make a perfect circle. Thin to thick on that one. That's good. I like that. Okay, this one, we'll stop about right there. Okay, let's get this circle part in here, and we're just gonna do separate lines. Don't feel like you have to like do the whole thing in one go. Not necessary. And actually, when you do it like this, it makes it look a lot better anyway. So what I want to do is a thin here. Oop, I don't like that. I made a dot there in the beginning. Here we go. Make sure that you're closing all these lines. Don't leave any gaps. So it's going to make your life a lot easier when you go to color it in later on. I think I'm pushing too hard at the beginning. Barely pressure. You might want to take the size down a little bit. 13% maybe. Still 10%. Let's see if that works. Alright, and now we can do this curved. That's fine. Okay, I'm going to do this next line all together because I want this curved shape. Let's see if it'll work out. Yep. I just held the pen down after I finished. And then just going to clean up this edge here. That's good. Okay, let's do a thin to thick to thin on this. Look like a C. Put a dot here. Thin to thick over there. Same here. And same up there. Alright, I like it. Okay, let's maybe get this coffee cup in here now. Okay, so this sides is going to come down. Maybe we're going to have that handle. We're not going to have that line go through the handle. So maybe like that. And then the saucer is going to cover up the bottom of our cup. Alright, let's do this handle. And we can hold the pen down on this one to make it a good arc. Alright. And then the inside one here. There we go. And let's connect this. Did I want to connect that? No, I don't. I'm going to connect these two. And we're going to leave it like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is get this arc in here. You can hold your pen down to make a nice, perfect curve. And then we're going to connect it here. There. I don't like, it looks like a sharp edge here. So we're going to fix this. Let's erase this using your eraser tool, and then let's see if we can, yeah, that's better. Make a more circle. Okay, our inside line here for our cup. It's going to show where the liquid is, the coffee. Alright, let's do this saucer. And just hold the pen down. We can hit ellipse up here and you can stylize this a little bit better. That ended up being a lot smaller than I wanted it, so we're going to undo that and we're going to do it one more time. I want it to come out to about right here. That's where I want the edge. And the edge over here, I want it about right there. So there we go. And now we can edit this ellipse again. That's good. And that's good. And then we can fix anything that we need to fix. You put that up a little bit. That's good. Now we can fix these here that are not touching. Just like that, and maybe, no, that's got it. This one's coming over, so we're gonna erase. Oops, too much. Make our eraser a little bit smaller. There we go. Alright, and this is okay, but more connected. There we go. Okay, there's our saucer, and now we're gonna get the bottom part of the saucer here. And that's about it. So I'm not really happy the way this saucer looks like it goes into this log like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the little S here. Make sure it's set for freehand. Let me move the sketch out of the way. Freehand right there. We're going to try to take this saucer out, or the whole cup actually. Draw all the way around it. And then we're going to hit the arrow, and we're going to move this cup over a little bit. Oops, I'm making it bigger. I don't want to do that. So I don't want it to connect with that line, but I want it close to it. So I'm going to put it about right there. And then what I can do on my log here is I can fix that line that I kind of cut off a little bit. There we go. We've got it fixed. And then the saucer here, let's erase that cut off part, and then let's draw it back. Here we go. Much better. All right, I like it. Okay, let's do our frog. Froggy, froggy. So I need to do this a little bit better than I've got the sketch. I want to match this sketch a little bit better than what I've done. So we're going to do the eyes first because they're simple ovals. Then the oval is going to come down to about right here, and the top of it's going to be about right there. All right, so what we can do is hold your pen down. It'll make a perfect oval, and that's it. And then the other one's going to go right next to it, and it's going to touch it. And the size is going to be basically the same thing. Okay, and then we can edit it. If I got it a little bit fat, I can make it thinner. But I think that's good though. I don't like that. Boop, like there. We want those things smooth. So smooth it out. And then remember, we put our little markers there to show how high we want to come up. We can just get rid of those. Done, and then had one down here at the bottom. Here we go. All right, let's get his droopy eyes. So like that, and then some bottom ones too. Looks like he haven't had any good sleep. And then the little eyeball's gonna be right under the droopy eyelid. And you back up and see what it looks like. I think it's good. Okay, so now I got my eyes a little bit better than I had before. Now we can kind of see right here. This intersects right there. So if we want to copy that, I've got it up here, which is not correct. And then the bottom part's going to intersect about right here. That one looks good though. So we're going to go here and then connect it to there, and we're going to come out to about right, same where that line's at right there. So let's do hold our pen down, and you can see it made a really nice curve, and it made him short and fat, and that's kind of what we wanted. It made him kind of comical looking. That's good. Okay, let's get this leg in. So it's going to come up here, and it's going to come down to about right there. So let's go up to right there. Okay, and I want this thin here, so I'm going to do it one more time. Up, and then let off the pressure, and there we go. Okay, and then we got another little loop here. like that, and then actually come out a little bit more. Let me fix that. There we go. All right, and then his foot. If I got his foot, one toe is going to come here, the other toe is going to come here, and the other one's going to be here. So kind of like this. All right. So we're going to start up here thin and get thicker, and then the toes. The toes I'm going to end up with thin. All right, and then we can do this other one here. And see how that makes it just more stylized and like a cartoon. Okay, this up here is going to be about right here, and we're going to connect with that toe. All right, there's our foot. Let's connect this part. Here we go. Okay, let's do this other foot. So he is way off. Way off. So he's going to come, he's going to start about right here. And he's going to go down to about right here. Another toe. And another toe. And then it's just going to come up about right there. Just make sure they're look pretty similar. That's good. Now we can get this bottom part connected. So we're just going to do an oval, half oval. Hold your pen down. There we go. Okay, now our body on this side. His leg is going to come out to about right. It's not going to cross that line, so it stops before. So it's going to come right about right there. And then back to here. So maybe like that. I don't like that jump, so we're gonna not double tap, but 2-finger tap until everything goes away. That's better. Okay, then we're gonna come up. It's gonna cross the line and come back to about right there. So kind of like that. So here to there. And if you wanted to, you could connect it right where the point is. It don't really matter. All right, now this line is right there. It's going to come out. It's going to come to about right there, and then it's going to connect down here. All right, so hold your pen down. Sometimes you like the line and you're like, oh man, I didn't get that thin right there. I don't want to really do it over. What you can do is erase it. Use the eraser tool, and you can make that sharp, just like that. But make sure that you get it gradually. I didn't like that. Here we go. Okay, let's do his mouth. Oop, I still got it on an eraser. So we got this, and just got a line. Yeah, it's not a straight line. If you hold your pencil down, if your curve is not very much, and then you hold your pencil down, a lot of times it'll straighten it out. So you might not want that. And we'll do that. Okay, let's get this round part of his stomach. So just kind of oval. Make sure they're connected. And I don't like this way I went over it. Just gonna erase that and then connect this better. There we go. All right, let's do his spots. So we got one here. Hold your pen down. Make a good circle. Here too. I don't want them perfect circles. If I wanted perfect circle, Hold the pen down, touch with your other finger, and then you'll get a perfect circle, but I don't want that. I want a more funny looking circle. That's good. And over here we'll do the same thing. Spot here, make sure that's connected. Another circle here. What the heck? I don't know what happened on that one. It turned into a geometric shape. There we go. Okay, frog is done. Okay, let's get some of these lines on the log done so we can take a look at this. Maybe this part right here, we're going to do a thin to a thick, just a dot, thin to thick to thin. That's good enough. And then you can just put them anywhere you like. One thing with this thick to thin, it's easier to start off with thin and end up with thick. And I'm just starting thin, thick in the middle, and then thin at the end. Put one right there. Put a long one right there. Maybe a short one there. It don't really matter. I'm just simulating some texture on the log. Let's do this curved one. Okay, let's do thin to thick, and we'll connect it. 3 of them there. And then this. I think that's good. Let's turn off the sketch to see what it looks like. Yeah, I like it. One thing right here on this coffee cup. So you can see the log is not connected. So if we go to try to drop a color in there, it's just going to fill the whole canvas. So we need to make sure that we got connections everywhere. So you got the log coming in over here. Maybe we want it to connect to the cup right there. And then again over here. Like there, so we make sure that's all closed up. And I can't see anything else. If we go to drop our colors in, it'll might show us if we've missed something. But anyway, these bare spots, you might want to put like a little dot or something in there. I think that's good. Let's leave it at that. So now we are done with our sketch, our reference photo. So I'm going to turn that off, hit the wrench, click on reference, and it's gone. And I don't really need the drawing guides anymore, so I'm going to turn that off too. Drawing guide off, and there we're left with our sketch. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to, so that sketch was locked, I'm going to unlock it, and I'm going to delete it. We don't need it anymore. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put our colors on a separate layer. So you want to make your lines, click on it, you're going to get this little menu up here, turn on reference. So what that's going to do is when you drop your colors in, it's going to use the lines as a reference. You're going to make a layer, hold on it, drag it under the reference, and now I'm going to lock the reference so I don't make a mistake and drop any colors on there. Now we're going to put our colors in here. So let's do maybe the frog first. So the frog, in your color palette, I've given you this base green. First one, we're going to drop that in there, drag it, and drop him right in. Okay, that's good. Now his spots are going to be a little bit darker, so let's use this dark green down here. And then if you hit continue filling, just tap it. Maybe his eyelids. That's good. Okay, his belly down here is going to be this. Oops, I started a new layer. I don't want to do that. Color palette is going to be this beige color right here. Okay, I think that's it. The froggy is colored. Alright, let's do the coffee cup. So the coffee cup's going to be this lighter beige color. think they're the same one, or maybe that one. We're gonna switch these. I want this one for the coffee cup and that one for his stomach. So drop that on his stomach, and we'll change back to the darker one for the mug. There we go. The inside of the mug there is going to be the same color, and then our saucer is going to be the same color. The inside of our saucer is going to be a little bit darker, so maybe this one right here. Put them over there, and then our coffee is going to be darker, of course. Maybe that brown there. Is that it? Nah, darker. This one. That's better. Okay, and then let's do some little smoke. So I'm just going to do some little thick to thin lines going up. There we go. That's good. Now let's get our log covered in. So the log is going to be this lightish brown here. Drag and drop that in, and then the end is going to be a little bit lighter. So let's do this, maybe this one here. Yep. And then this end here, maybe the same one. All right, we've got all of our color flats in. Now let's do our shading. Oh, you know what? I forgot one thing. Let me see. How can we do this? So I want this to go over the lines of our sketch. So I'm going to put a little bit of moss. I'm going to turn this reference off. I'm going to make a new layer on top of everything. And then this, maybe this base color here, green, same as the frog was. We're going to do some moss. We're going to take it, just make some little squigglies. Just cover up that log. Okay, then we can color and drop it in right there. Make sure you get all this in. So we're going to put some moss there, and I'm also going to put some over here. It's going to be under the cup, but on top of the log here. So about like that, and then we'll fill that in. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. All right, and now let's do, on top of this moss, we're gonna do, let's do this a little bit darker, so the one under the base color we just used, and actually let's do the darkest one here. I want to line, I'm gonna put it on the inker. I want to line this in a darker color. Just to give it that cartoon effect with the outline. Yep, just like that. Make sure I get that green part in there. Okay, I like it. Now I'm going to pinch these two together, which is going to make them onto one layer, and I'm going to start a new layer on top of that. I'm going to click on it and set it to clipping mask. And what that's going to do is this green part that's under it, it's only going to allow me to color on that green part. Can't color outside of it at all. That's what you call a clipping mask. And then we're going to do this middle green color here. And we're going to change the brush to a airbrush, so that comes with your Procreate set. Airbrushing, and I'm going to do this softer brush here. I'm not going to give you this because you've already got it. And then what we're going to do is maybe set the size to about 4%. And we're going to kind of lighten. Something's not working. Oh yeah, it is working. I can see it. Or can I? What's going on? How about if I darken it? Well, that shows up. Let's just kind of darken a little bit in the middle. Kind of leave that little light edge on around the edges here. And see, if I color out here, it won't let me because we've got that clipping mask on. I did a video on clipping masks. You guys might want to check that out. Okay, let's do this. This color? No, I want a more of a yellowish color. Go to your classic, slide it to the yellowish, and we want to keep it kind of a earthy, maybe a darker yellow. So just use whatever you like. And then we're going to do maybe just some little variations in the color. That's good. Just like that. That's all I wanted to do. Okay, and then let's go to this darker green, back to our palettes. This darker green here. Make sure we're back on our inking brush. And let's just make a little dots or marks. Just get a little texture. You can just set them anywhere you like. That's good. Okay, let's do some shadows and highlights on the froggy. So here's all of our color flats. We want to do a new layer on top of that. And also we can clip the mask of that one too, like we did before on that one up there. And that's going to draw on the thing that's under it. So only on the frog and the log and the coffee. Okay, so what we want to do is I want to do a kind of a shadow. So maybe this middle color. Yeah, I like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to do kind of a oval. Alright. And we're just going to color it not on his belly. So we're going to go around. What you can do is you can just go around the edges here. And a foot. And then connect up where we had our line. Right there. And now what you can do is fill that in. So it just kind of gives us a shadow there on the bottom, and then we're going to do the same thing on top. We're going to go lighter. So maybe this really light green. And we're going to do the top like that. I just went ahead and colored them in this bigger piece. I can fill that in. Here we go. Just like that. And then maybe tops of his eyes. Little highlights on tops of his eyes. And that's it. We're just going to leave him just like that. Okay. What else? Maybe on our log here. So if I'm thinking the light's coming in from the top, because that's why his tops of his eyes have some little highlights on them. We can put some highlights over here on the moss. If we go above the moss, we're going to pinch those two together and then maybe put some highlights on like that. Maybe a little bit right there. That's good enough. Okay, then our log is going to be under shadows down here, so let's do a darker on top of the log. So we're going to go same one we did on the frog with the highlights and the shadows. We're going to use that same layer, and then we're going to choose a darker, this darker brown here, and just kind of go under. This would go over it, so maybe like that, and then down here too, like that, and could be over here. So I'm going to choose this mocha color, and then if you go to your classic, if you want to make a darker shade of this, just go down a little bit and to the right a little bit. And just create a little shadow on that side of the log, and then down here, this whole thing might be in shadow, but we'll leave a little bit of light on it. That way we can signify that it is shadowed. Okay, and then under the frog here, he's going to be casting a shadow. We're going to use that same dark brown. And be careful because you don't want to color on the frog. If you want to make things easier for yourself, is you could put the frog and the log and everything else on separate layers. And that way you won't have to worry about it. But yeah, I'm just going to put a little shadow under the frog here. That's about good. Maybe the saucer. Maybe that's going to be casting a shadow. And let's make this saucer look more 3D. We'll click that. Remember, down a little bit, to the right a little bit. It gives a darker color. We'll shadow the bottom of this saucer. And then the bottom of the cup. Now the cup, this side's going to be towards the light, so we're going to put the shadow over here. Like that, and maybe the handle too. You just kind of experiment with it. I mean, when I first started out, I was like, when I looked at other people's illustrations, I was like, how do they know where to put those shadows? And it was really confusing to me at first. But the more I did it, the more I knew how to do it and what looked good. I'm not perfect. Maybe inside the cup here too, so. Just like that. All right, I think that's gonna do it. Now, what I promised you guys is the special things. I've given you a paper texture file. So what I want you to do is to bring that in. Now, you guys, what you'll do is you'll hit the wrench icon and you'll hit add and insert a photo. And then you'll pick the photo that you saved. All right. For me, it's already on my program, so I'm going to go over to it. I have a lot of paper textures. And the one I given you was this paper texture here. So I'm going to copy all, go back to my frog. Okay, and I want that paper texture to be on everything. Okay, so I'm gonna put it at the top because I want it on everything. So I'm just gonna make a new layer on top of everything. And then what you'll do is that's where you'll load your photo in. All right, so and then when you load it in, it will be right on top just like that. And then what you're gonna do is you're just gonna drag it out till it covers everything. And then when you get it done, hit the arrow. Okay, we're going to go to that layer and we're going to change the blending mode. So the N here and then the blending mode. I think I set it for color burn. Or was it linear? Linear burn. Linear burn. So set it for linear burn. Now look at our picture now. Look at the little textures on it. It makes it look so cool. So that was a little special thing that I told you. Now for the extra special thing that will give you possibly your own art style. So this is a lot of thing that a lot of artists struggle with is how can I get my own style? Like when someone looks at my picture, they can tell, I know the artist who did that. So this is one way you can do that. And what you can do is the other picture that I give you was a pattern. Okay? Then we're going to put the pattern on top of everything like we just did before. So you'll, again, insert a photo, pick the pattern that I've given you. And actually, I have to do the same thing that you guys are going to do. So I'm going to start a new layer on top of everything. Click on the wrench, insert a photo, click your pattern, which is that one right there, and then we're going to drag it until it fills the whole canvas. That's good. Click on the arrow. Now you say, I can't see my photo. So again, we're going to go into the blending mode. And I think I set it for darker color. Now look at that. If you do these kind of things on all your drawings, you're going to be recognized as that's your style. And you can use the same pattern or you can use different patterns or whatever, but it just kind of lends to making your own style. Now, if I think this is a little too strong, what I can do is click on the little DC because we set it for darker color, and then you can change the opacity and knock that down a little bit. Maybe right there. Okay, and if you want to change the pattern, so it's only going to really show through the light parts, so you can see in the eyes and the stomach here, if in the cup. If you want that going through the eyes, you can just kind of move it around. You know, where you can get those cool looking shapes through the parts where people's going to see it. And then if you drug it where it's not on your canvas anymore, you can just make it bigger again. And then we can put those, make sure we reposition those swirls where we like them. I think like that. All right, and then let's set our background color to maybe a bluish, kind of like this light blue-green color. Maybe even lighter. All right, and it's making our pattern go away, so I don't like that. Take the saturation down, or what we could do is take the opacity back up full. Now let's check out our background color. If that, yeah, it does better, but maybe take some of that color out. I noticed one thing we didn't do is we forgot to color the frog's eyes in, so we missed the white part on the eye. So let's go ahead and add that in. So we'll go to the layer with our colors right there, and I'm going to pinch these highlights and stuff together with the main picture. We're going to set our line layer back to reference again, so when we drop our white color into the eyes, there we go. There we go. And that is going to do it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. It was a little bit of a long one, I guess, this time, but I appreciate your support. Tune in every Friday for a new long form video. We got shorts 6 days a week. Actually, it's 5 days a week now. On Sundays, we got kids drawing time where we use traditional materials, but Fridays are the Procreate tutorials. Blah, blah, blah. All right, thank you joining me. I will see you on the next video. Like, subscribe, do all those good things, hit the bell, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.